I agree with you, and I think the Canadian experience class is certainly a very good strategy moving forward. I think because in the past that was not there, and that was one of the problems that students used to face was, okay, what do I do now after finishing my degree? Do I have to go back? So the fact that you've introduced that, that's something that's very commendable. Now going now to switching gears a little bit onto the family, there's been a lot of talk about the quotas being cut for in the family class category for parents and grandparents, while it's gone up for the spousal and the children category. So just if you could just outline what the facts are.
Well, let me take a step back so you understand the context. When the previous Liberal government came to office in 1993, they cut immigration levels by a third. They cut family reunification by 38% in their first 5 years. They also cut the budget of the Immigration Department. As a result of those three decisions, we saw huge backlogs and waiting lists develop in all of our immigration programs. As I mentioned, overall 830,000 applicants were in the system when our government came to office in the beginning of 2006, including 110,000 applicants in the parental reunification program, with 64-month wait times in that program. So this is a huge problem that we inherited. Now, we've started to turn the corner on the backlog in the skilled worker program. And I've announced that we will adopt a similar program to reduce the backlog and wait times for parents and grandparents. So we'll actually be increasing the number of visas issued to parents and grandparents this year. The figure that you referred to is really based on a very arcane, internal, preliminary planning figure that the department uses. But the reality is this. We are planning to receive up to 17,500 parents and grandparents this year. Under the previous Liberal government, their last 2 years in power, 2004 and 2005, they only welcomed about 12,000 parents and grandparents. The average number welcomed under our government has been 17,000. The total average number of sponsored family members to arrive under the previous Liberal government was 60,200. Under our government, it's been 63,400. So we have increased annual average intake of immigrants by 14% over the previous government. We've increased sponsored family member intake by 17%. And we will increase this year parents and grandparents, and will put in place a plan to reduce the wait times. We don't want people waiting for years to be reunited with their loved ones.
Just to add a little point to that, basically when you look at it from a cultural point of view, and you look at it just purely from the Indian cultural point of view, Indians place their parents first, even ahead of God. So it's true. In all our scriptures, it's always, the Mata, which is the mother, Pita is the father. So Mata, the mother, is first, the father is second, and then you even put your teachers ahead, and then you put God at the end, basically. So my question is, when you look at it from a pure cultural standpoint, and Indians by and large tend to live in joint families. I mean, they love to have their parents because they want them to look after the grandchildren. They want the whole little society there. Now, one of the things that, today, if you look at the parents now, some of them want to come and live here permanently. Some of them want to spend 6 months, go back for 6 months. So what if you had a system where parents and grandparents could be given the 5-year, visas, the temporary visit visas, so that they could come and go as long as they want while their applications are being processed? Because right now, if you are someone who wants to apply for a permanent resident visa and visit your son and daughter, or son and daughter back in Canada, you're not able to do that. If you get a visa for 5 years that lets you come and go, it could probably be a situation that would be advantageous to both parties.
That's why I've instructed our department to issue multiple entry visas to visiting parents and grandparents who have an application for immigration wherever possible. And over half of applicants do get those visas. I'm talking about from India. And we do encourage those multiple entry visas. Now, but we cannot have a system that guarantees that everyone with an application for immigration is going to get a visitor visa. There are lots of other issues. There's issues of medical admissibility, healthcare costs, etc. And so we need to make sure that people do qualify to come to Canada. Often for elderly people, there is an issue with respect to health and insurance. But as a general rule, we are trying to facilitate those kinds of visits.
Okay. We have been having a lot of discussion these days on the settlement funds cut. And I want to highlight the case of the South Asian Women's Center. They have an annual operating budget of $570,000, and I understand it's going to be cut by almost 70%, which leaves them probably not going to be able to operate that center. So if you had some specific thoughts on the South Asian Women's Center.
Well, first I have to say that our government has tripled funds for the settlement services that are delivered by groups like that. So we've gone from $200 to $600 million nationally, and in Ontario we've gone from $110 million to $356 million in funds for those programs. Now, those funds were allocated based on where immigrants were landing in 2005. But since then, in the ensuing 5 years, we've seen a real shift in settlement patterns. More people going to Western and Atlantic Canada, and in Ontario, fewer people coming to 416, more people going to York Region. Consequently, we have a situation where settlement services in the 416 part of Toronto are overfunded, but they're underfunded in York and other parts of the York Region in GTA and other parts of the country. So what we're doing is a reallocation. That means a 9% cut for the funds in Toronto, a 43% increase in York Region, and increases in 7 of the 10 provinces. So we had to do a rationalization. We did a request for proposals. We received, I think, 700 requests for money to deliver these services in Ontario. And so as a result of all of this, we've gone from I think 170 service providers in Toronto to 150. That organization submitted a proposal which did not meet the standards that the department set. These are not political decisions. These are decisions taken by independent public servants. They looked at the track record of that organization. They looked at the quality of their proposal, and they said, we have better proposals. So other groups are getting funded. New groups are getting funded. Now, none of those make a headline. You never have anyone holding a press conference saying, we'd like to thank Minister Kenney and the Conservative government because we will now receive funding for the first time. You only hear about it from the handful of groups that did not qualify. So I make no apologies for this. No organization that receives funding from the government has a permanent guarantee or an entitlement to tax dollars. And I frankly resent the suggestion that just because an organization received money in the past, it should always receive it in the future. They need to qualify. It's a competitive process. And if they don't, I'm sorry for them. If there are people who want to continue working in the settlement sector in that organization, then maybe they should go up to York Region, where we're increasing funding for these services by 43%.
Specifically on the South Asian community, now you mentioned that funding has gone to some other newer organizations. Now, are they also women-based organizations or just new immigrant organizations? I think you could just highlight a little.
Well, that group may call itself the South Asian Women's Center, but they're required by the virtue of the contribution agreement to serve men and women. So, the organization may have started with a focus on women, but all of the organizations that we work through must accept clients from all ethnic backgrounds and men and women equally. So the gender is not really relevant in our programming.
Okay. So you've done a lot to engage Indians and South Asians in Canada, and I think I think most of the community now knows who Mr. Jason Kenney is. Now, what are you doing to engage India as a country in terms of the trade, in terms of overall relationship with India?
Well, I think this is one of the most important achievements of our government. When we came to, it's important to understand that in 1974-75, India used Canadian civilian nuclear technology in its weapons program. And the government then froze, the Trudeau government froze Canada's diplomatic relations with India. There was frankly, a bit of an anti-India bias, I would say, in the Canadian foreign policy establishment for the ensuing 3 decades. The previous Liberal government under Jean Chrétien, again, kind of downgraded Canada-India relations. And when they looked at Asia, they only seemed to think of China. Now, China's an important country, but India is a fellow Commonwealth democracy, English-speaking country with the same legal and political traditions, with a huge diaspora community in Canada. To us, it was ridiculous that we had downgraded relations with. We should have been focusing on India as the top target in terms of our commercial and diplomatic focus. And that's what the Harper government has done. So we resolved the long-standing dispute on nuclear technology with a nuclear cooperation agreement with India. That led to so many other things. We've had many high-level visits to India. I've been there twice. Prime Minister Harper, a very successful visit in 2009. Dr. Manmohan Singh was the first Indian head of government to come to Canada in 34 years. Yeah. And because of all of that, we now are very close to finalizing the Foreign Investment Promotion Agreement. And we've commenced, as you know, comprehensive negotiations towards a free trade agreement. Now, every developed country in the world is knocking on India's door, looking for something like a free trade agreement. They've opened that door for Canada. That's a huge advantage for us. The level of trade between the two countries is ridiculously small. It's only about $5 billion a year. It should be several times greater than that. And our government is completely focused on that. We've opened several new trade promotion offices in India. We are engaging in a whole of India strategy, not just a northern India strategy. So we've opened up offices in Kolkata, in Hyderabad, in Bangalore. We've expanded our office in Mumbai. And we've opened an office in Ahmedabad. Gujarat was on the blacklist of the previous government. We've had Stockwell Day, our Minister of Trade, went and met with Chief Minister Modi, and we have a warmed up relation with Gujarat. Also, on the visa side, we have a new Business Express service to provide fast-track visas to employees of major companies that have a lot of travel back and forth. So things are going in a great direction, and this is one of the significant achievements of Stephen Harper.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Kenney.
Thank you very much.
All the best.
Thank you.